Hello and welcome to this 2026 NBA Finals preview edition of the BCS podcast. I'm going to be looking forward to the NBA Finals series between the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs, which is a repeat of the last time the New York Knicks got to the NBA Finals in 1999. And let's start with the Eastern Conference champions, the New York Knicks. The Knicks got here by defeating the Atlanta Hawks in 6 games in the first round before sweeping first the Philadelphia 76ers and then the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference semi-finals and finals respectively. This means that the Knicks now go into the NBA Finals well rested, having last played last Monday night when they completed that sweep of the Cleveland Cavaliers. For more on this, let's head over to Long Island, New York to hear from British expat and Knicks fan Ross Worsley on how he thinks the Knicks will now do in the NBA Finals.
What do I think of this team's playoff run? Unbelievable. 2 sweeps in a row. Doesn't get any better than that. Doesn't matter who you play, still got to beat them. 2 sweeps in a row. Definitely going to be going into the finals on a high after that. I think it's going to be won and lost between whether we can stop Wemby or not, and I think we have the Wemby stopper in Mitchell Robinson. I don't think a broken pinky's going to keep him out. That Southern dog, he's not going to be out with a broken pinky. He's going to be in there. He's going to be roughing Wemby up. Wemby's going to be crying again. It's not going to go well for him. I think the Knicks are going to win in 5. Probably maybe 4, maybe another sweep. Why not? But, I'll give the Spurs maybe 1 game, maybe the first game at home. But after that, the Knicks will turn it on. There'll be another championship coming to New York. First time, I think, since the 70s. First time in the finals since the 90s, so the city is buzzing. It's just going to be, I feel like, inevitable eventually that the Knicks win this. And, it's going to be great for Brunson to prove, it's going to be a legacy for him. And the other guys, Josh Hart, teammates from Villanova that are going to win another championship together. So I'm going to be very happy for them, and I'm excited. Knicks in 5, baby.
Over in the Western Conference, the San Antonio Spurs got to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2014 by beating the Portland Trailblazers in 5 games in the first round and overcoming a tough Minnesota Timberwolves team in 6 games in the Western Conference semi-finals before then beating the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder in 7 games of what was a very competitive Western Conference Finals series. It promises to be a fantastic NBA Finals series then, and for me this is a series that is very difficult to call. As I said at the start of this episode, the Knicks go into this series very well rested, having swept the Cavs last Monday night, meaning that they are also on an 11-game winning streak. For me, it was very obvious just how drained the Cavs were coming off 2 7-game series, and they even gave away a 22-point lead in that first game against the Knicks in the 4th quarter, because for me they looked very drained. And so I can't help thinking, given that the Spurs are coming off what was a highly competitive 7-game series against the Thunder, that fatigue could at least play some part in who wins this series. You also have to consider other factors though, and one that I'm particularly looking forward to seeing is the matchup between Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns versus Victor Wembanyama and Luke Cornett. The NBA has increasingly become a big man's game again, and who can dominate in the paint and on the boards could very much help to decide who will win this NBA Finals series. In this regard, both teams are very much set up in similar ways, in that you have one big who can space the floor and provide a threat from beyond the arc, whether it's Karl-Anthony Towns for the Knicks or Victor Wembanyama for the Spurs, while the other guy is in the paint, dominating in the low post and getting boards. Much will depend then on who can succeed on offense in this regard before then getting up the floor and doing their version of that game on offense. On this though, it should be said that as much as I really like Karl-Anthony Towns, Victor Wembanyama is much better at doing both, providing a threat from beyond the arc and also dominating in the low post than Karl-Anthony Towns is, in my opinion at least. You also have to look at the wider defensive matchups as well. When I look at this Knicks team, they have some elite individual defenders in the likes of OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, and are backed up by the likes of Josh Hart, Landry Shamet et al. As well. You have to remember though that this is a Spurs team that has the reigning Defensive Player of the Year that is averaging over 3 blocks a game in the playoffs this season, and they've just beaten what is an incredibly impressive Oklahoma City Thunder team that is led by the now 2-time regular season MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And this Spurs team just beat that Thunder team in 7 games. They didn't silence Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but they certainly significantly subdued him enough and the rest of the Thunder enough to be able to win the Western Conference Finals and get to the NBA Finals then. As much as I recognise that the Knicks are an incredibly impressive team on offence then, we cannot forget just how impressive the Spurs have been on defence this season then. Finally, the X factor in this NBA Finals series, if it wasn't obvious already, is Victor Wembanyama. We have not seen a player like Wemby come into the league since Kevin Durant, and in some ways Wemby is already better than Durant, having still not reached his athletic peak. If Wemby can stay healthy and can stay on the floor throughout this series, I'm predicting that the Spurs will win this NBA Finals series then. For now, that is the end of this 2026 NBA Finals preview edition of the BCS podcast. Thank you as always for joining me, and I certainly hope to see you again next time when I will be previewing the 2026 FIFA World Cup tournament with the help of multiple contributors. Bye bye now! The BCS podcast is written, produced, edited and hosted by me, Brett Walker. Thank you to Boban Apostolov and Pixabay for the use of the music and sound effects in this episode. This episode also features a contribution from Ross Worsley.